What's up, visionaries? Today, I just have to get straight to it. I've been telling you guys that this is bigger than cryptocurrency, decentralized finance. It's about that I believe the book, The Fourth Industrial Revolution, was a roadmap written about the Great Reset and where we are headed. Now, I have put tons of content out there. I have made tons of videos. Many of them have been censored and shut down the minute that I post them. And I am not someone who is radical with the things that I say. I pride myself on doing my due diligence and research. One of the things that I want you guys to start thinking about, I'm not here to argue with anybody. I don't care if you believe if I'm right or wrong. The only thing that I'm doing is telling you what I'm doing, how I'm preparing for it. I'm not interested in trauma bonding with people. I don't want to talk about that. I want people to start accepting the world the way that it is instead of how they wish it would be. It is the largest problem that people have today is that they're trying to fight for a world that no longer exists. Now, you can be upset with me for saying it, but I just sit back and watch while you guys go at it in the comment sections while I'm doom scrolling, while you're doom scrolling, and I watch the behaviors of people. We have become so brainwashed with convenience that you don't even understand that it doesn't matter what you actually think about cryptocurrency. That is the reason why I keep telling people you are not a decision maker. You have to understand your position on the chessboard. Now, what I want you to understand, this doesn't mean that all is lost. Krishnamurti said something like, there's no such thing as freedom unless you realize that freedom is just, and I'm paraphrasing this here, freedom is just the reality and the acceptance of what you consider to be freedom. See, many people, and this is why I think social media is a distraction, because so many of us sit here and try. See, this is why politics is so popular. This is why even people who call themselves spiritually awakened, they can't really break free of nationalism, the pick-a-pony bipartisan politics. They use terms like liberal, conservative, patriot, and all of these type of terminology. These are all psychological branding that is keeping you inside of the jar, the matrix, so to speak. That is the more polarizing way to say it. I'm trying to get you to understand that the Great Reset is here. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. Digital technologies now is that because of the speed of the internet, and as you can tell by how much more truth we are seeing now, there is so much more that we are unpacking that you need to put the rails and the infrastructure on something that is controllable. See, I'm aware that blockchain technology is not new, in fact. It's been around for decades. See, what people don't understand is that somehow they lost the plot. See, social media allows for people to have hooks, headlines, triggers, emotional triggers. I'm someone who operates a business marketing online, and every time I go talk to someone on how to grow on social media, I have to do some kind of psychological mind tricks in order to get you to care about wanting to make money in this digital transformation. See, I don't even care about how many times a day I post. I get my money out the market. Then when someone requires and renders services, I have other businesses that cash flow my investment portfolio. This is what I'm trying to get you all to realize is that you have to utilize this digital transformation that we're in. See, I'm not only just a consumer who lives to put my opinions in the comment sections. I record videos, I produce content, not because I want to be worshiped and glorified with all these followers and influences. It's because I am taking control and responsibility of meeting the environment and the world that I live in where it's at. This is why I've been telling you guys that AI is going to replace your jobs. I went to the Space Coast Tech, what is it? The Space Coast Alliance for Tech and Innovation, Scotty is what it's called. And I met a guy there named Corey Cook. At the time, he was the lead software engineer for tech and development at Lockheed Martin. And I'm going to show you in this video here a conversation that I had with him. But what I want you guys to understand is that this is not about ones and zeros. See, people always used to say that I wish, oh, you invest in cryptocurrency for the technology? Oh, you better believe I do. Because guess who's like when the market corrects and then it pumps back up, the ones with the strongest technology. Even if you're not going to get a 1, you might not get a 5x, 10x, 20x yet, like they're telling you. But when you look at the adoption that's going on right now, what are they into? Technology. They're investing in the technology of these companies. Ethereum is a smart contract platform. That is important because in order to deploy things digitally on the internet, you need if-then instances. And this is just a simple explanation of how smart contracts work. If this person wants this, I have to make sure this person has that. Ethereum executes that well. Many people will argue about the gas fees. That's why people don't understand about layer 2 solutions. It's because many of you aren't making money is because you're chasing the money instead of investing in the infrastructure. And what I've been telling the people in the village, in the visionary village in my community, is that if you look at what these banks, governments, countries, and other institutions, hedge funds are talking about, guess what? Guess what they're talking about? They want to know what you can prove. See, Ethereum processes transactions. See, there's no way to verify other things. See, Solana gets traction because most retailers are buying meme coins on it. It was the same thing back in the pandemic bull run. That's why Cardano was big, because people wanted to buy those NFTs because they were cheaper to mint on Cardano. But see, Cardano hasn't been executing their roadmap, and that's why you don't hear much talk about it. Even their founder, Charles Hoskinson, he talks about Bitcoin and Ethereum and other things more than he talks about his project. See, these things are important, and you have to keep your eyes on the road. So with that being said, this video is going to be me trying to explain to you guys how the World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab book and the Fourth Industrial Revolution had gave you everything you need to know where to put your money, where to base your career, and how to move forward and navigate in this digital transformation that we're going through. And I'm going to point out a bunch of hot takes that I have and some controversial ones as well. And this will probably get me flagged on YouTube, I would imagine. And I think I already got a few strikes on it, but I'm still going to put this out there because I'm not saying anything radical that's anti-Israel or anything like that. I even think that's a distraction. If they control everything, it still doesn't stop the fact that everything that you have in your life already is tracing you, tracking you, and monitoring you. Your Alexa inside of your house, the microphone on it is listening to everything you do. The Ring camera on your front door is tracking when you walk in through that door, when you walk out through that door, what is said at the door when you're walking out of it. The Alexa device, the Echo, is also listening to what's going on inside your house. You can look up court documents where they summon to hear the voice recording notes. My garage door opener, Amazon, the driver can open it up and close it down so it can keep my packages safe. See, what they're doing is using convenience and security as a gateway in order to have more control over you. It's not the cryptocurrencies and the blockchain technology. That's why they want us on it. You've already taken the bait. It started with Google with your Gmail account. What do you think cookies are? How do you think Facebook and Instagram, well, Meta, gets revenue? Check out the data points. What's even more interesting about Facebook is that when you look at, you don't even need to have an account. You don't even have to have it. It's because all it takes is somebody in your contacts on your phone, right? All it takes is someone who has contacts on your phone to put your name, your email address, and your phone number in it. And then what do you think when you go on TikTok, X, Facebook, and then you see people you may know, they suggest people that you have. How do you think they know that information? See, like, and you got to get over this emotional trauma bonded thing where it's just such an empty, soulless statement to say, we're so cooked. What are you going to do about it? And that's what I'm saying. And then you can ask me what I'm going to do about it. Most of it, I'm not going to say here on Palantir's internet. See, what you guys know is that I keep my circle small. I don't just sit down with people, right? And it's like, and I'm not here trying to peacock to show people what I got. I'm just trying to deliver you information so you can make decisions on your own. Because I'm telling you, when it comes to my bunker, I'm pretty confident that I don't want many of you to be in there with me. I don't even want to have to learn new people when it comes time to hunker down. You got to start building your community. And everybody wants to be loved by everybody and trust everybody, not me. It's not logical. It doesn't mean I don't like anybody. It's what I always joke about all the time with my friends is that 99.9% of people I don't like. There's 8 billion people in the world. 0.1% is 8 million people. Who needs 8 million friends? Even your most viral content creator doesn't have 8 million followers. Some do, but not most of the ones that you guys consider influencers. All people are doing is listening in. It's all a trick. It's all a ruse. AI is here to help you, but it's a double-edged sword. I'm not saying it's all sunshine and rainbows, and that's where people get it twisted. You're living in a binary world where everything has to be either this or that, when actually it's as well. That's what people do not understand. We no longer live in a binary world where it's this or that, left versus right, straight, gay, lesbian, non-binary, gender fluid, transgender. None of that stuff matters. See, what's really funny to me is that when I tell people I'm not into politics and things like that, one of the funniest things that I find is that people always, this is how you guys have been tricked. You've been brainwashed into that whole, I pledge allegiance to the flag to the United States of America, the chanting. I want you to think about chanting when it comes to spirituality and how that's indoctrination. This doesn't mean I'm not proud to be an American. I know the world that I live in. That's what I was saying at the beginning of this video. I want people to accept the world the way that it is and not the way that you wish it to be, because we are pawns on the chessboard. Because I've seen real money, and I can tell you, no matter how many millions you think you have, that ain't real money. Now, people will argue about how happy they are with what they have, but then they spend most of their time pissing and moaning in the comments section on social media. If you're happy, what are you pissing and moaning about? See, altruism today is just a distraction from what people really have a problem with. It's trying to control other people without having to actually do the work. See, that's why people like politics. People like the fact that all I have to do is do my part and walk in and check a box. And now I get to tell everybody else what I want to do, what they should have done. They're dumb because they thought this. No, every person on this planet In a democracy, it looks different. That's what people don't like about the non-binary world that we're going into. The as well, where you have more options. But see, the thing is this video is not about you not having options. This video is about how we're all going to be put and ushered into this blockchain technology stuff because it's easier to keep the creatures in the jar in the distributed ledger. That's all it is. That's what bookkeeping is. Keeping the books, the Dewey Decimal System, keeping things in order, structure in order. It's not actually that crazy to think about. It's the reality of the world we live in. We need to know who bought the house before. This is why I believe in the tokenization of real world assets. See, we need to start thinking about things that we live in this world that's so reactionary. See, that's what people like. Many people like to report on things just to be first. What I want you guys to start thinking about is I can show you better than I can tell you. What I'm going to start with here, well, I'm going to get into, is I've been posting videos on the internet about the partners of the World Economic Forum. Not because they're this dystopian conglomerate giants or anything like this. It's because I watch people with their conspiracies and their harebrained things that they say, right? And I watch a lot of things, right? And if you're in my community, I have a link so you can check this out. This video is going to be for me and you to look into this so you can check this out. So now let me share my screen here. Just do window. Also share the audio. All right. So now, as you can see here, this is the World Economic Forum website. This is weforum.org. I've been making videos talking about the partnership. I always started talking about the fourth industrial revolution, and it's because back in 2018, when I started investing in cryptocurrency, I read this book called The Fourth Industrial Revolution by Klaus Schwab. In this book, he had this outline. I want to show you this outline. And it was called The Deep Shift. As you can see, the list above my head here is, or next to me, is implantable technologies, our digital presence, vision as the new interface, wearable internet, ubiquitous computing, a supercomputer in your pocket, storage for all, the internet for things, right? Connected home. This is what I was talking about earlier about Amazon, smart cities, big data for decisions, driverless cars, artificial intelligence and decision making, AI and white collar jobs. That's when I started telling people about AI taking your jobs, robotics and services. As you see, the humanoid robots are growing up, and I'm going somewhere with this. Bitcoin and the blockchain, right? This is when 2018, this was my journey while I was starting. This isn't me just following some influencer, listening to all the hype. I make educated decisions here, right? The sharing economy. See, this is where I realized that Uber, Lyft, Instacart, and what is it, DoorDash, all of that stuff. That's sharing economy. Airbnb is sharing economy. The government's in the blockchain, 3D printing and manufacturing, which is what I'm getting into right now, 3D printing and human health. But see how it says government's in the blockchain? A lot of the stuff I'm saying is based off the stuff I read in this book. And what I want you to also see is that, and inside of the community, I'm going to put the digital version that you can read inside of the community. So if you want access to that book, join my community. It's actually for Black Friday. Closing down the free. It's going to switch to paid. So those of you who are in there now, and then I'm also launching my 12-week coaching program where I'm going to teach you everything in 12 weeks. about how to build your portfolio, how to utilize AI, how to research these projects, how to operate in a decentralized manner. I'm going to give you everything that I know, and we're going to meet every week. We're going to meet 3 times a week for 12 weeks. You'll have access to the recordings if you can't make it live, but we'll be doing coaching calls every week. And sorry for that shameless plug there, but I just wanted to let you guys know what was going on. But this is going to be available inside of the free community here, right? So now let's go back. I know something that's really popular right now that it just went viral. But I've been saying this like on my Facebook, and I'm not someone who's a consistent content creator or anything like that because I have other stuff that I'd rather do than do social media most of the time. And I'm just now getting into my bag on this social media stuff. But so anyhow, this 3D printing and manufacturing, right? So let me see, I put it on here. I have this here. So I have all of this. Where is it? Icon build, right? I'm going somewhere with this. Just let me cook. Let me cook. All right. So now I'm going to go back to this 3D printing and manufacturing. Now, the reason why this is important, I have this conspiracy, let's say. These are not facts. These are allegations that I'm making here, right? Is that the housing is unaffordable. But not only is it unaffordable, the global population in America, right? And I'm just going to speak for America, that you hear Elon talking about it all the time. The population shrinking. You see that a lot of people aren't having children, right? People aren't dating, wanting to get married. They're not wanting to start families because they can't afford it. And like, I'm not saying like anything else. I get it. I understand it. What I'm saying is this is just my thought process that I want you guys to take a look, that this isn't just being dystopian. This is making a logical decision, because what you do as an investor is that you see these things and then you invest in what you believe, right? And so it doesn't matter if I believe that it's happening or not. It's just that I actually truly believe that housing isn't going to be any more affordable. It's more likely that we're going to have universal basic income, as you already hear Elon talking about how there'll be universal high income using the humanoid robots or whatever it may be. You hear the news about layoffs on jobs, so people aren't making money again. Then a lot of you just don't like to read. You like to read headlines. You like to react in comment sections. We're already dumbing down as a society. We use mostly acronyms to speak when we text and type to each other. It's where we are going is that humans are going to be just like in the movie. What is that movie where they get into that spaceship and they float around in space while Earth is healing? Walla, right? So once you start realizing that we are going to have 3D printing and manufacturing, because we're going to have something that I believe that in real estate, they call it shrinkflation, right? So single family homes where you have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, right? And if you look right above this here, the sharing economy, right? One of the strategies in real estate is that you can buy a single family house and rent out the rooms. Now that sounds crazy to people now, but as we get deeper and deeper into this recession that people are talking about, like people want to criticize Bitcoin going to zero. Like, I think you need to think about your bank account going to zero before somebody who has minimal exposure to cryptocurrency, where you're over worried about Bitcoin, where still only 9% of the world has exposure to it, right? And so you're like, more people are focused on that this would be the greatest rug pull, when really you don't realize that your economy is just going down. So when you look at shrinkflation, and what that means to me is that people are going to want smaller homes. That's why you see tiny homes, van life stuff, and things like that. See, that's becoming more attractive because people find it easier to afford the lifestyle that they want to live by making the sacrifice of not having the giant liability of a home. Now, I know a lot of people think it's controversial that your home isn't a liability. But realistically, if you are borrowing and taking a loan out on something and the interest payment is increasing on it, and let's just say that right now, that the pandemic, right, was that was the boom of real estate. The prices in here in Florida shot up because we had less restrictions with this government shutdown. So one of my friends bought a house in West Palm for $300,000, sold it for $650 in like 2 years, 3 years. And I'm pretty sure he'll probably tell me if he sees this video, he'll probably tell you how much it was. But it was 100% return on real estate. That happened during the pandemic. So when you want to talk about equity, it's a numbers game. See, people get so fancy with this crypto stuff, like they get so educated with their criticism in crypto, and they don't realize that the real pyramid scheme is their life outside of cryptocurrency that they don't even invest in anyway. And what I'm saying is that once you realize that the sharing economy and 3D printing manufacturing, that most likely people not having families. So if you get these 5-bedroom houses for, what do they call those? Multi-generational homes is what they call it. Single family homes are like 3-bedroom, 2-bath and less than that. And then you have multi-generational homes where you have 4 to 5 bedrooms, maybe even 6, right? So then those, especially if someone's going to sell it, unless some real estate investor or somebody, or as you see on the internet, some of these younger kids are actually smarter because they're willing to make more sacrifices because they're young, that you can get this dope penthouse in Miami and shack up with your friends and you can live pretty good and make some money on the internet, right? And then it doesn't have to look like when I was a kid. Like, I wish I had that opportunity, but I'm never going to be a hater on things like that, right? So what I'm trying to get at here is that when you look at 3D printing and manufacturing, right, is that I want you to look at this. This is Icon. Icon is a 3D printing and manufacturing home, and they're based in Austin, Texas, right? So I want you to look and see how I watched a video on this already. So what happens is they come in, right? And human workers come in and lay the foundation in the plumbing. This is why trades are still valuable. But I got to tell you that eventually they're going to figure out how to do all of it with robotics. And as you can see here, the foundation is laid. That's the layout format of it, right? And then, so then you see here this big robotic thing. And I've already looked into it on starting, like, and if somebody wants to get into this and figure out how, or you can see if you do it yourself, but if you want to work with me on it inside the Visionary Village, get at me with it. I'll talk there. And then yeah. So as you can see, this is what the homes look like on the inside, right? Like, look at this house right here. See, they have structures supporting national defense. See, you can build homes on other interplanetary. I'm just telling you that if you look at everything with Elon, where he's going, see, social and affordable, these are all the use cases for these homes right now. Now, I'm going to tell you, I know a lot of people are going to piss and moan and bitch. Everybody likes to say what they don't like. There's a lot of things you don't like right now. What I'm telling you, there's a video that I'm going to play, but I don't want to like search. I'm already going a bit long on this video. So, and I'm there's a video you can watch where they interview people who are living in the house, and these are people who are on fixed income, right? And so because of the build of the house, the energy bill is significantly less, right? And then of course there's things that there's compromises that you'll have to make. And a lot of people think like you don't drill into drywall and all this other kind of things like that. But it keeps a very good temperature. There's a lot of stuff going on with it, right? You can explore the homes here. Let me click on this and take you down this rabbit hole. What I'm trying to tell you is because I'm going somewhere with the 3D printing in this video, right? Look at it. These houses are not bad looking. When you see these houses, these are 3D printed. These are cheaper to make, right? Once again, this will not replace the entire construction team, but this will significantly decrease the amount of employees you need. And this is what people don't see. That everybody tries to think in totality, that something has to be replaced to disrupt, right? All you need is a few 100,000 jobs to be out. And then here comes the universal basic income. You're not paying attention. Don't argue with me, argue with your mama. Because this is what I'm doing in my community is that I'm trying to get people to stop being the people with the Twitter fingers, the TikTok comment section, Instagram know-it-alls, the armchair experts, is do something about it. If you want to help people, help people. You want to make some money, go get it. It's here. Learn about this technology. Where can you do it? You're going to have to do some work. You're going to have to, in order to get somewhere that you've never been, you're going to have to do something that you've never done before. And if you don't make peace with that statement, you're doomed. That's the thing that's going to screw you. Your ego, being a person who is resistant to change. I listen to so many people who are so comfortable talking about how much they dislike change, and they beat their chest how much they dislike change, and they're so comfortable with it. But guess what? No one gives a fuck about your change. No one gives a fuck about how you feel about it. The world doesn't. This world's not going to stop spinning because you don't like change. See, this goes back to the politics. You like the fact that you can vote, that somebody wants to help you not want to do anything or do something. Not everybody wants to do this. So what? You don't have to do it. That's the brilliant thing. But just every decision you make is a decision. It doesn't matter. If you decide that you don't like to learn stuff, guess what? Live your life as somebody who doesn't like to learn stuff. You're going to make sacrifices. This is the point that I'm trying to drive to you guys. This stuff is not going anywhere, right? Look at these robots here. I want you to look. I took my kids to a robotics class this weekend. Now look, the bigger, better, faster, next generation robotic construction system, a breakthrough in large-scale 3D printing purpose built on to automate labor, reduce waste. What do shareholders like? Bottom line. And scale production. It delivers durable, resilient, high-performance structures with unparalleled design and flexibility, right? So like I don't care. Like, see, the thing is, I don't care. Like, I'm trying to show you guys that you guys need to make the shift because this ain't slowing down for no one, right? Well, let's watch the video, right? Let's see what this video does.
Icon is a construction technology company developing large-scale robotics, advanced materials, and software systems to help us build more affordably, more quickly, without sacrificing resiliency, beauty, sustainability, and the things that really matter to us in the built environment. For the past more than half a decade, we've been using a gantry-style 3D printer to do the primary, sort of the workhorse of what we do.
So when we're receiving feedback from the guys in the field, the main piece of friction was the ability to set up and transport the system from place to place.
So the limits that we hit with the gantry system, number one, the logistics were quite complicated. It needed rails to be installed. So those rails had to get hauled on a truck, they had to get installed in a very level way on site. So we needed a railless system.
Across multiple areas of the product design, between Vulkan and the next generation printer, we made some meaningful improvements. So the system includes a tracked mobility base. And by having the tracked mobility base, we can actually mobilize from one lot to the other lot immediately after finishing a print job. This will save us 1 to 3 shifts of human labor that we would otherwise be spending on setup.
We also continuously get asked about multi-story construction. So we need a rail system, we need a multi-story system.
Yeah, so the current Vulcan system can reach a single story. For the next generation system, we wanted to allow for multi-story to allow our customers to have greater versatility with the architecture.
As we thought about what Vulcan could be in the future, how we could be more flexible and more mobile as a printing system.
The next generation form factor is a serial arm. It has a 70-foot print radius.
But the problem remains that when you go with a very long arm like that, it is not stable at all. And so we would not be able to print with it. And so the question was, could we stabilize it? And so that was the spark. We said, we think we can, and we're going to try. With our first prototype, we were able to accomplish a demonstration print, and that pushed the architecture limits as well as the scale limits of everything we knew to be possible with Vulcan. So we were able to go from 10 to 12 feet high to 27 feet tall, and then we were able to push the envelope to like 110 feet long as a print.
And number 3, we have to always continue to reduce the cost of materials and labor. The gantry style system needed a crew of 3 to 4 people to operate out in the field. This next generation printer is designed to work with 1 operator.
We wanted to invite as many people to help us in our mission to end the housing crisis. And to do so, we wanted to make it so simple that anybody could be a part of this future.
And the moment that we're approaching as a company is the moment we've been living for and the moment we've been dreaming about. And that's the moment that we can put these technologies into the hands of other people in opening up incredible opportunities, what they build, whether that be affordable housing, middle market housing, workforce housing, high-end experimental luxury housing, light commercial, you name it. This is a new paradigm of building.
We're very, very excited and believe that the industry is going to pick this up as a strong signal and scale things massively. Within a few years, the number of printers and the number of job sites is going to grow exponentially.
We want to empower the on-the-ground builders in their home communities, their home markets, their home countries to work together to solve the global housing crisis and to make the future very, very incredible.
So that is called innovation, my friends. And what I want you guys to realize about this innovation and things is that the 3D printing is robotics. This is what I want you all to understand. This is where I'm going with this, is that when I saw in this book, 3D printing and manufacturing, I went down the rabbit hole. I started looking up because as an investor, I'm always looking for new opportunities. And then so in order to not be exit liquidity, you have to be the first person in position. See, and then you have to be able to see these things in order to get in front of it. I led with telling you about affordable housing, shrinkflation, 3D printing, right? The 3D printing in the human health taught me more about the Epstein files than you little porn addicts think. See, everybody thinks, here's the thing about the Epstein files, right? When I read this chapter in the 3D printing in human health, right? And let me watch, I'm gonna pull this up. Where's this book at? Boom. Boom. I know, 5. Bear with me, guys. Again, this is available inside of the community, right? So now, here is 3D printing and human health inside of this book. What's important about this is that when I read this book in 2018, see, I'm not somebody who just responds to headlines. I actually don't make content because I don't think everything needs a response. Like, what point is it to update somebody on something that you already should have looked up yourself and know how to get the information? Like, there's no difference in somebody who's giving you news updates. That's the whole point of doom scrolling and why it's a trap. Is that if you go and do it yourself, Why are you sitting there waiting, following somebody to tell you what's news to you? In the age of information, ignorance is a choice. So you go into these doom, but I don't have time. You got time. The average person spends 6 hours a day on a social media platform of some sort. I want you to think about that. And yes, you're still at work, taking your little poops, doom scrolling on the toilet, leaving negative comments, most likely, right? Or just watching a bunch of stuff. But watch, it says one day 3D printers may create not only things, but also human organs, a process called bioprinting. In much the same process as for printed objects, an organ is printed layer by layer from a digital 3D model. The material used to print an organ would obviously be different from what is used to print a bike, and experimenting can be done with kinds of materials that will work, such as titanium, powder for making bones. 3D printing has great potential to service custom design needs, and there's nothing more custom than a human body, right? Now, what I want to, I'm gonna go somewhere on here, right? How do they 3D print food? And I'm going to pull that up, but I'm going to come back to that, right? I'm going to come back to that, right? So now, addressing the shortage of donated organs, an average of 21 people die each day waiting for transplants that can't take place because of a lack of an organ. Prosthetic printing, limb or body part replacements, hospital printing for each patient requiring surgery, personalized medicine, 3D printing growing fastest where each customer needs slightly different versions of a body part, right? So now, I'm going to pause right there. What does that symbolize to you in an economy? Demand, right? See, a lot of you guys are over or undersexed, however you look at it. You're porn addicts. The reason why OnlyFans is on the rise, the reason why the girls on Instagram lead with their butt, even if they're cooking you a meal. The guy chopping wood on TikTok with his shirt off, we're a bunch of porn addicts. Sex sells, baby. 3 things never have a recession: alcohol, tobacco, and sex. When you're depressed, you fuck. When you're happy, you fuck. When you're depressed, you drink. When you're happy, you drink. And whether we smoking and drinking, it doesn't matter. Never has a recession. But I want you to realize that that's a demand. See, I knew that the Epstein files was a blackmail ring well before all the Alex Jones and stuff said. It's obvious. Even if you're somebody who sits there and is like, well, if the left had it, why didn't they use it? Because all their hands are dirty and they know it. And then what you're doing now actively, what everybody in the content creators around that stuff is doing, and this is probably going to get me flagged, but what they're doing right now is actively distracting you from the real big game. They gave you the list once. Who did they put on it? Some Prince guy. They put, who was it? The guy, the brilliant physicist, Stephen Hawkins. And then what you're doing actively now is telling them how to curate it for you so you're satisfied. That's all you're doing. And then so they'll go and redact things and do stuff like that, pencil whip it, because they've already told you that they've done it before. People completely just forget that the Pentagon not too long ago was telling you that the UFOs people were seeing was real. One of my favorite books is The Mothman Prophecies by Andy Keel. Point Pleasant, West Virginia, The Mothman, based on true events. It's a book. They made a movie about it with Richard Gere. And what's even more important about that, what's even more creative, that's why when I went to that Space Coast Alliance for Tech and Innovation, and the guy was telling me that Lockheed and Martin has 12 Academy Awards, because I read books, right? I knew from the Mothman prophecies that the movie with Will Smith and Tommy Lee Jones, Men in Black, is an actual real sector of the government that specializes in extraterrestrial sightings. And in the book, The Mothman Prophecies, the guy goes to question people what they see. The guy greets him with a shotgun, said that he's seen him there before because he was dressed like the guys from the Men in Black that came there. And no, they mix the fiction so it tricks your mind. What they do is they use fiction in order to get you to believe that there's a potential that it might not be reality. And that's a psychological factor. But when you look at the demand for 3D printing, it's obvious to see that human trafficking is bigger than you think. I'm actually somebody who thinks the whole immigration thing is a clever way in order to secretly traffic humans. Not for sex, though. Organs. Because if I got the bankroll and my kids need a lung, and I know the ethics behind things is that we have a waiting list. See, it's not as evil. I guess it is, but to me, it's not as evil. It's just logical human behavior. And the only difference is that if you're the person who has it, you would do it. It's just like the trading in Congress. I'm gonna keep it a being with you. If I'm somebody who knows something, I'm going to tell my friends and family if it creates an opportunity for them. Is that unethical? Yes, but I'm going to be real with you. If you can't help your family and friends, who can you help? See, and it's like they're supposed to be civic servants. Yeah, they're supposed to be. Supposed to be a lot of things. Accept the world for the way it is, not how you wish it to be. You can be mad and punch air all you want. Tell me how well that works for you. But see, this is a demand, right? So now I want you to see that was the positive impacts. I want you to get into the negative impacts. Uncontrolled, unregulated production, right, of body parts, medical food, medical equipment, or food. You see that? Negative impacts. Uncontrolled or unregulated production of body parts, medical equipment, or food. Now, this is where it goes into my next section. The viral sensation that's happening today is the CEO from Campbell's comes out and says that the food is for poor people. The food, why would I want to eat something that's unhealthy? It is 3D printed meat. I want to tell you about universal basic income and government assistance. It's coming, guys. That's actually already here.
Campbell's, Robert Garza of Monroe.
I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's so healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at it, look at me, bio.
Part of an over an hour-long rant, says former security analyst for Campbell's, Robert Garza of Monroe.
I don't buy Campbell's products barely anymore. It's so healthy. Now that I know what the in it, even in a can of soup, I look at it, look at me, bioengineered meat. I don't want to eat a piece of chicken that came from a 3D printer. You?
The recording allegedly of Campbell's VP.
So now, what's interesting about the Campbell story is something I want to tell you about people, right? The guy didn't come forward because he's a good person. See, he recorded it. See, the thing is many people are like this. And I'm not judging this guy. What I'm saying is I see all this false altruism on the internet all the time. Is that this guy is upset at this guy about being a remote worker. He recorded this guy talking about it. So how long has this food have been 3D printed? You got to start asking more questions. But this goes back to what I'm telling you about in this book. Oops, wrong one. I'm going there too. 3D printing and manufacturing, 3D printing and human health, 3D printing and consumer products. This book was written in 2016. See, y'all don't want to hear me. You just want to dance. Hey, y'all. What I'm trying to tell you right now, all of this is that we are just ants marching. And the only way that you will experience freedom is by going through. See, this guy is a whistleblower, and I think this about all whistleblowers. They have no problem doing the bad deeds until it does them dirty. I say the same thing about Bitcoin and why its value is that it's permissionless, borderless, and censorship resistant. Because everybody thinks censorship is cool when it benefits them until you get censored, until you don't have permission, and until you can't move it across the border. And that's what you're waiting for. See, many of you guys are worried about this whole, if you know who this guy is, let me tell you what, whoever the guy is, what a brilliant con. Think about all the people with the nonprofit organizations. Even think about the people who think billionaires shouldn't exist, but because the guy from Arizona pays his employees well, they like that billionaire. See, all of you guys' love is conditional. People are dumb. And I'm just going to say it. And now what I wanted to lead into is not only that. Remember this story that I talked about? I ain't taking no survey. Neuralink targets 1 billion revenue by 2031. Remember this? I posted a clip, but for those of you in the community, it was longer, right? Again, I'm going to tell you, this is what I've been doing, right? And now I've been thinking about this since I read it to you guys, right? Is that Elon Musk's brain implant company, Neuralink, aims to implant chips in 20,000 people a year. I don't care what else is said in this article right now. I truly don't. The part that's interesting about this is that when you think about 20,000 people a year, not just 20,000 people roaming the earth, and they're saying that it's going to be done by 2031. This is what I'm trying to tell you guys, to start breaking down, getting deep, and looking into things like this. Why is this important? Because I was thinking, like, oh, what is it? One of my followers had telepathy, right? So there it is. I said it right. It still doesn't matter how I pronounce things. I'm not really big on it. I just try to appease people who are grammar Nazis. So the telepathy, right? For communication between brain and machines, blind sight for restoring vision, and deep for treating tremors for Parkinson's disease. The thing that I wanted to understand was, where would you find 20,000 people that would do this? See, blind sight for restoring visions, because eventually, see, the thing that scientists are at the end of the day is they're curious people. Like, and then there's a book that I have on my shelf that Robert Greene wrote, in Human Behavior. And once I read that book, it helped me out a lot, understand that some things that I try to relinquish control. It's like this book that I have that I'm reading right now by Mel, what's her name? I don't even know her name. I forgot. Yeah, it is Mel Robbins. I always mess up her name because I think it's like uh-oh. See, they're already getting to me. They can't access my video. They're getting to me. They did it on my live streams, but now I'm going to do it on here, right? So I'm recording this video, not live, because my live streams always have what just happened. But what I'm talking about here, right, is where did they get the 20,000 people from? Now, I'm not sure how much I believe this is hearsay or not, but if they're going to get 20,000 people a year, there is something interesting in this other article. And this is what's important about not being short form content and why this video is as long as what it is because you need context in this world. If you're going to figure stuff out and do deep dives and research, you take 20,000 people a year and you generate at least 1 billion, right? Cognify, the prison concept that wants to reuse AI to revolutionize rehabilitation. Future prison subjects could choose between serving a typical prison sentence or accepting brain implants. Now, do you see this here? 20,000 people a year. This is something that I learned from the 48 Laws of Power. Win over their hearts first. Win over their hearts, then get another company that uses things because people, think about the gladiators in Rome, the UFC fights, how we're entertained by watching people fight each other, right? We like capital punishment as humans. We are inherently violent mammals. Just so you know this, right? We like to impose punishment on other people. Think about how people talk about the death penalties and how they treat those sex offenders. I'm not saying I don't agree or disagree with any of them. I'm just saying call a square and a circle, all right? See, the world's prison population is estimated to have increased by 24% since the year 2000, which despite differences between continents, it's also approximately the estimated general increase in the world population. Incarceration rates have risen astronomically since the 1980s, tripling in the US and nearly doubling in many European countries. Furthermore, the data from the Bureau of Justice Statistics highlight that 71% of released prisoners in the U.S. face rearrest within 5 years. This raises the important questions about effectiveness of modern prisons and how well offenders can reintegrate into society. There might be another way. Introducing Cognify, a thought-provoking concept introduced by science communicator and filmmaker Hashim Agaili. It envisions a revolutionary approach to the penal system focusing on reformation and rehabilitation rather than punishment. Future prison subjects could choose between serving a typical prison sentence or accepting brain implants in combination with AI-generated virtual reality memories. These synthetic memories are customized depending on the crime committed and the unique brain structure and psychological profile of the individual, allowing them to serve lengthy sentences in a matter of minutes. The process involves a detailed assessment of the individual's neural pathways and cognitive functions. By understanding the specific areas of the brain that contribute to criminal behavior, the implant will force the prisoner to experience emotions such as guilt and regret by targeting neural pathways that control memory, thinking, and logical thoughts. Additionally, as prisoners undergo rehabilitations, computers record information to help researchers understand what motivates individuals to commit crimes. Now, the science fiction similarity. Cognify shares parallels with White Bear episodes of the television series Black Mirror. In the episode, a woman named Victoria wakes up with no memory of her identity. As the story unfolds, now let's go back. Let's pause. Right there. Do you understand what I'm trying? Put the puzzle pieces together. What I always try to tell people is zoom out. See, people like to entertain it. This is what I'm saying. If you're trying to make money off your conspiracies, there's ways to invest in this stuff. This is the stuff that I'm talking about in my community. Because on these public platforms. We're going to dive deep in this. I'm not saying this is good or bad. The thing is that if they're going to do this, it feels bad. They're going to do it without you, whether you make money off of it or not. And I'm telling you right now, my interest is investing in things like this because you can't stop what's already in motion. It's the laws of inertia, right? And see? So now, in White Bear, the focus on inflicting suffering as a form of justice, which leads viewers to question the morality and humanity of such an importance. Beta tested. All of that is beta tested. Then I want you to consider what facial recognition features like TikTok's algorithm, Facebook and Instagram's algorithm, how while you're scrolling, it's taking your facial emotions. They put like Black Mirror episodes, content creators that go viral. See, they pick and choose who goes viral or not because the agenda is in the algorithm. See, that's why I gave up on influence and followers and being just a fucking miserable hater on the internet. I never was that. I'm just saying that those people are just hilarious to me because you're playing the game. You're in the matrix. The most engaging people are the negative ones. Opinion only fans detected, opinion rejected. These smooth brain people don't realize that instead of just scrolling by, because you have to voice your negative shit opinion, because outside of it, you don't have the stones to say stuff to people like that to their face, even if it's a woman, because you don't want to have to be a big bad man if she hurts your fragile ego. But if you go and say opinion, you have to go into her comment section, hit click, watch the video enough to be like, ooh, I like this, but let me see. Because if you see an OnlyFans link on Instagram or TikTok or Facebook and you go to find it, you've already consumed that content, my friend. Algorithm knows what gets your attention. So does the OnlyFans creator. Don't hate, don't participate. And then what I'm saying is by you going into that comment section, engagement. Typing, pause, engagement. Impression. Type, hold on. Let me make sure first. View profile. Another data point. I watched the video all the way through. I went to leave a comment. I went to her profile. I clicked the link in her bio. Yep, there's an OnlyFans. Let me go back to the video, rewatch again, leave the comment, OnlyFans detected, opinion not respected. You just offered support without spending $3. She's going to make $20 off of that whole thing you did. Just scroll by. But because of your ego and I have the right to an opinion, yeah, but your opinion is dumb. It doesn't mean that I support the whole OnlyFans movement. I'm just telling you how to fix your own problems in this matrix. But you don't even realize that that's a smooth brain thing to do. But see how they reference the Black Mirror, knowing that you can use entertainment to groom the masses. When I went to that, right? When I went to the Space Coast Alliance of Tech of Innovation, and that guy was there talking about the Academy Awards that when I went there and they were talking about the awards that, not Northrop Grumman, it is Northrop Grumman. Lockheed Martin. Stand corrected. I probably said that earlier too. I forgot. I'm just recording for a minute here. But once I realized that the people who they're winning Academy Awards, and he was saying that they beta test and they give them awards for participating in the filming of the movies, right? So now if you take something like this, so that he goes, we use that to beta test. And then I was just like, interesting to say. Then I started seeing it more. And this was 2 years ago when I went there. 2.5 years ago, it was in 2023 when I went to this thing. And this is what I'm trying to tell you guys. I'm in the game, like I'm doing the research. And it goes back to this book right here. All right, let me zoom out. The Fourth Industrial Revolution. All right, where's the book at? I had the book up right here. Boom. So I want you to see this book right here. And I want to show you, oh man, I'm way down here. I'm doom scrolling like an amateur, right? So now, look at this. This book right here has changed the game for me. And the reason why it's changed the game, I even told one of my friends about it. He was like, I don't want to support that guy or whatever. And I was like, you have to be able to know your enemies, not saying that they're an enemy. But once I heard about the Great Reset, this book came out in 2016. I wish I would have read it in 2016, had a 2-year head start on buying this cryptocurrency stuff from the point that I did. But the things that they talk about, even Kathy Wood from ARK, most of her portfolio is in these technologies. You can build your own ETF now with decentralized with apps. You can go and buy companies that has implantable tech, vision as the new interface, the wearable internet. Like there's all types of things you can, big data for decision. Remember when Elon Musk wanted to put the treasury on the blockchain, right? Elon Musk with the driverless cars, artificial intelligence for decision making, which is using AI to vote, robotics and services, Bitcoin in the blockchain. See, this is why I wasn't arguing. I knew the institutional investors were coming when I read governments and the blockchain. Just that section. That section, look, and it's 1 page long. 1 page long. How the governments were going to utilize the blockchain. Big data for decisions. It doesn't take a genius to figure this out. You just have to open up a book. I don't argue with people who just do things on Reddit forums and do quick Google searches. Google is a pay-to-play search engine. Whichever one has the highest volume in traffic is not searching for the best answer, even if they're using AI. This is what I'm telling you. And here's what I want to tell you. Not only when you read this book, I realized something. That, how did this group get together? They can't be operating with just this one guy. It can't just be Klaus, who stepped down, and Larry Fink from BlackRock replaced him. No, it was this here. Who are they? Partners. And I want you to see this. Everybody wants to target just the group. But even your favorite content creator, because they support all this political agenda crap, and they will push this right-wing propaganda about being anti, but I'm trying to tell you is both left and right, two wings on the same bird guiding you to your ultimate destination. This is why my stuff gets taken down all the time. And it's I want you to see how they word this. Strategic partnership associate, associate partnership, associate center partnership, new champions, global innovators, and unicorns. Here's the part that's interesting. There's so many partners that it's in alphabetical order. And somebody asked me, why was this important when I shared it without context? Because when I dive into this is what gets my content taken down. Because what I'm telling you is the truth. Look at these partners. Now, this is a global thing. The globalists have already won. They're already partnering using this forum as their place where they get together and they talk about these things publicly. And if you go look up their page on any platform, the comments are always off. You look into that yourself. But as you can see, what did I tell you? Amazon's a partner. You love your Ring camera on your house, you're supporting it. American Express. the American Dental Association, the America Heart Association. You know why that's there? 3D printing of organs. 3D print some veneers, right? Then you have, let's see, Apple, your beloved Apple, Blue Bubble people. Your data is the real currency. You're already in it. The only thing they're doing now is putting you on the blockchain. That's why you see the avalanche movement. I'm not going to argue with someone from XRP. The writing's on the wall. California already put the titles on the blockchain. Virgin County's already putting the deeds to the house. The DMV is the gateway. I'll say it 100 times. You got to invest in infrastructure and be patient and wait. Quit being a moon boy chasing meme coins. You're fumbling the biggest bag of your life. Look at this, Amco, watch. And then there's this, you go here. What else do you guys want to see? Let's go to B. Where is it? Where's the one I was looking for? Bank of America, Bank of China, right? The Saudi bank, right? Bridgewater, Ray Dalio. I love the guy. Let's see if Berkshire Hathaway's on here. Let's see if my boy's on here. He might not be. So there's no Berkshire, right? But there was one that was really interesting the other day. Look, ByteDance, that's TikTok. They have TikTok. Everybody loves TikTok. And then there's people who make content on TikTok. I do. That's why it gets taken down. This is my stuff gets taken down on these platforms because it seems like I'm talking bad about it, but I already know I can't control it. I'm not going against the grain. I'm just trying to tell you guys how to get a bag off this. BlackRock, Blackstone, Bloomberg. What's even funny? Let's get some controversial stuff here. Where is it? See, as you can see, FedEx. What else is here? A lot of food groups. All right. Oh, is it under E? What is it? I'm trying to think. Oh, yeah, this is the one. This was the most interesting one. That's a partner with them. What do you see there? The New York Stock Exchange is a partner with the World Economic Forum. No matter which way you go, look at Nestle, NASDAQ, Nokia, Ninja, your food products. Come on, guys. I'm trying to tell you to open up your eyes. But y'all ain't trying to hear me, though. But this one is crucial. Nielsen, the TVs that you watch. When I try to tell you that data is the new currency, I don't think you guys really hear me. This is not dystopian. This is a reality. Wake up. And if you want to build a portfolio that gives you exposure to this, and you want to be a part of everything that I know, and then you'll do it with me over the next 12 weeks for this Black Friday sale, just comment the word coaching underneath the comment section, and you will get a special deal because I'm going to run the coaching program every 6 months. But if you want to be a part in my coaching program where I'm going to show you not only just how to make money off of this, also have to be off the grid. Because the only way out is through. And my exit strategy is 2030. And yesterday's price is not today's price. I'm being real serious. I offer some good value, and I was doing it for less than what I had to do it. Like you can go here to see OpenAI as a partner. That was an obvious one though. I'm looking for one that's just like one you wouldn't even think of. There's one person who's not on here, and none of his companies are. But that's what I wanted to see. This guy, because I know he's got to be in it. See, I want the people who aren't on it have their own data, is what I realized. Let's see. Let's go T. So yeah, see, a lot of banks, the Tampa General Hospital, right? So and this is what's important about this Tampa General Hospital. Takeda Pharmaceutical is your medical information. Oh, the HIPAA protected. It doesn't matter if they're using it to build large language models and you didn't sign a waiver. And I don't know, maybe it's protected by HIPAA. I don't know. Maybe somebody, one of you smart guys out there. Look, Time Magazine, Titan Cement. There's a lot. Well, anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. If you guys want to be a part of that 12-week coaching program, it's a Black Friday special that I'm doing it for significantly less than what I'm going to charge for it. And you just comment the word coaching, and then we'll start on Monday of next week.